we now have a name and a face to this little boy who was killed in this tragic alligator attack. His name was Lane Graves, and he was the son of two parents, described as caring and attentive by those who know the family. This is a family who came to Florida from Nebraska looking forward to a fun and relaxing vacation here in Disney when they witnessed the unimaginable. They watched a gator swim away with their child. They came to Disney as a family of four, but the Graves family will be returning home without their 2-year-old. Lane Graves was playing in ankle-deep water on the shore of Disney's Grand Floridian Resort Tuesday night when his parents witnessed the unimaginable. An alligator snatching their son and dragging him into the water, his parents unable to save him.
The father was standing nearby, just within a few feet, and the father entered the water and grabbed the alligator's head and was trying to take the child from the grips of the alligator's mouth, and the alligator won that struggle.
You can imagine how horrendous it was. She was doubled over, she was crying, she was inconsolable.
Dozens of law enforcement officers searched the Seven Seas Lagoon, but the hope that he would be found alive began to fade with every hour that went by. Wednesday afternoon, more than 16 hours later, Orange County sheriffs announced they made the heartbreaking find.
The body was, I'm told, about 6 feet down, and they were able to go in and get it.
The Seven Seas Lagoon stretches 172 acres and is linked to canals and other bodies of water. Authorities say the beach area where Lane was playing is marked with a no swimming sign, but there's no mention of alligators. At least 5 alligators were captured for forensic analysis.
We're going to make certain that we have the alligator that was involved and that we remove it from the lake.
Disney closed all 9 of the resort's beaches due to the search and to assure the safety of guests. Disney released this statement following the tragedy. It reads, "There are no words to convey the profound sorrow we feel for the family and their unimaginable loss. We are devastated and heartbroken by this tragic accident and are doing what we can to help the family during this difficult time." And the sheriff believes that the boy drowned because his body was found intact, but an autopsy will reveal the exact cause of death. And after this attack, Disney has said that it will review all of its signs throughout the resorts. We're live from Lake Buena Vista. Lorena Estrada today in Florida. That's right, Christine. Moments ago, we heard from the Orange County Sheriff's Office and from the FWC. They tell us this is still a search and rescue operation and that they are hoping for the best. Let's listen.
We still have kept multiple deputies on scene here overnight. More are coming in this morning, some fresh eyes to give another fresh look at the water. We will have additional deputies in the air as well. We will continue. This is still a search and rescue operation.
Our thoughts and prayers are with the family, and we do want to keep hope, and we want to continue doing everything possible, state and county government working to find this young child.
And so far, the FWC says that they have removed 4 alligators from the lake, but so far no evidence of the child.
Developing this morning, a child dragged into a lagoon on Walt Disney World property by an alligator. This morning, authorities are still searching for that young boy. 7's Lorena Estrada is live near the scene in Lake Buena Vista with the latest. Lorena?
Well, the FWC tells us that they have removed at least 4 alligators from the water and still no sign of this 2-year-old boy. We're talking more than 10 hours since he's been missing. All of this happened a little after 9 o'clock last night when he was playing near the water with his family there. And before they knew it, right in front of his parents' eyes, this alligator snatched the boy, dragged him into the water. His father ran to him, tried to grab him to save him, but was not able to do so. Actually, we're learning that the FBI may be looking into whether Disney was scouted as a possible target. The shooter and his wife reportedly visited the theme park just a few months ago in April. And it's also being reported that the shooter had been inside the nightclub many times before.
It's been a while that he's been going to that bar.
You're hearing from a performer at Pulse nightclub who says the shooter was seen more than a dozen times inside the same bar he terrorized.
Drinking with another guy. At one time, he was actually standing with another guy when we were performing.
Clubgoers also told the Orlando Sentinel he was sometimes seen drinking alone in a corner, and other times so drunk he would get belligerent. And the shocking reports don't stop there. The LA Times reporting that he was on a gay dating app.
He said that the man who he was chatting with, who he believes was the shooter, didn't mention having a wife or a child, and repeatedly said that he wanted to meet him in person, that he wanted to meet up.
The latest reports conflicting with what Omar Mateen's father has said earlier, that his son expressed anger over the sight of two men kissing in Miami. When media from around the world crowded into his father's home, this is what he said about his son and homosexuality.
Nobody, let me tell you, nobody has the right. Nobody has the right to say anything to anyone. So this is a free country. Everybody has a choice to live in the way that he or she feels like to live.
But we begin with 7's Lorena Estrada live at the scene outside of Pulse nightclub with more on the shooter's past. Lorena, good morning.
Good morning. There are now reports that this was not the first time the shooter had been inside the nightclub he terrorized. According to witnesses, he was seen there before. But first, we want to take you to Fort Pierce, where the shooter lived. Our cameras were there late last night as his wife returned to his apartment. Only 7 News there as Norzai Salman, wife of Orlando shooter Omar Mateen, returns to gather items from their Fort Pierce apartment Monday night. In the few minutes she's there, you never see her face, but police confirm it's her. Moments later, she returns with a police escort carrying a bag and some personal items. We tried speaking with her as she sat in the back seat, but she had no words for our camera. Also in the back seat, the couple's young son. In another development, Fort Pierce police now investigating a burglary at Mateen's home. They say after the FBI cleaned up and locked up, someone may have broken inside.
We're treating this like we would treat any other burglary that would involve the fingerprinting, photos, and just processing, like I said, just like any other burglary we would have in the city.
It comes as we're getting our first look inside the apartment. These photos from the dailymail.com. You see family photos and a child's balloon in the living room. People who knew Mateen well say he was a family man, always praying with his son. And all this amid new reports that Omar Mateen went to the gay club Pulse at least a dozen times before. A performer there says he saw Mateen there twice a month.
Even my partner said that he seemed like a very nice, comfortable. He loved where he was at. He was drinking with another guy.
Pulse is the same club where he went on the deadly rampage. And the LA Times reporting that Mateen was on a gay dating app.
He said that the man who he was chatting with, who he believes was the shooter, didn't mention having a wife or a child, and repeatedly said that he wanted to meet him in person, that he wanted to meet up.
Clubgoers also told the Orlando Sentinel that he would sometimes drink alone in a corner and other times get so drunk he would get belligerent. Media from around the world crowded into Omar Mateen's father's home. This is what he said about his son and homosexuality.
Nobody, let me tell you, nobody has the right. Nobody has the right to say anything to anyone. So this is a free country. Everybody has a choice to live in the way that he or she feels like to live.
And back out here live in Orlando, still a very active scene as the FBI continues to retrace all of Omar Mateen's steps that led to this shooting. We are live in Orlando. Lorena Estrada today in Florida.
7's Lorena Estrada continues our team coverage in Orlando with more on the victims' stories. Lorena?
Well, Ashley, we're outside of Orlando Regional Medical Center, where at last check, 43 of the injured were transported, some of them still fighting for their lives this morning. As for those survivors, those who made it out without any injuries, they've been sharing their stories of survival. They've been describing the terrifying moments when they heard those gunshots, many of them saying it was around last call when those gunshots rang out, and when they realized what was happening, they say they ran for their lives. One woman even saying that she had to hide under dead bodies to survive. And that young man you saw in that photo is one of at least 26 victims who have undergone surgery so far. We're live in Orlando. Lorena Estrada today in Florida. That's right, Christine. We're here at a senior center. It's not far from the scene where families have been showing up here since 10 o'clock this morning. Most of the families that have been showing up here have already learned that their loved one has died. They're here to meet with authorities and ask any questions they may have and get the details they need to begin to plan funeral arrangements. And we've been here since 10 a.m. and we've caught up with two families. One man telling us he got that knock on his door early this morning.
Just, I will remember all the time. I never go and forget that. My best, my only one.
Your only daughter?
Yes, I got two boys.
Cesar Flores says he will never forget the times he had with his only daughter, Mercedes Flores. He found out she was not at the hospital.
We stay all days in the hospital, and then they never come out.
And early Monday morning, he received the devastating news.
The police come to my house like 1 o'clock in the morning just to give me the...
Who answered the door?
I answered the door.
And when you saw them?
I know. It's going to happen because they called me like 30 minutes before they arrived to my house.
He is one of the many families who have been showing up to the senior center not far from the scene. Luis Vasquez and Anna lost their nephew, 25-year-old Anthony Loreno Disla.
Victims, when they pulled all the bodies out yesterday, he was one of the bodies that were found and identified.
Those who survived describing the terrifying scene that has changed the lives of so many.
DJ was playing a typical set that incorporated what we thought was gunshots as part of the music, 4 shots, bop, 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 bop. And, but for some reason it was different. No one put 2 and 2 together until the 5th and 6th, between 10 and 20. That's when everything really started getting real.
I don't know what happened that he stayed behind, but he stayed behind like this on the floor. But he got that because he was shooting the ones that were alive on the floor too. He wasn't shooting even the dead. He was shooting to everybody, to everything that moves.